Center. The main focus of the event will be a skate and BMX competition. However, we are excited and grateful that Sergeant Thayer from the U.S. Army and Debbie Giorgino from the Foxborough Rec Department have helped us to get a hold of many other attractions that will appeal not only to those competing but their families as well. Mrs. Giorgino has gotten in touch with a DJ who was kind enough to be at the event without charge. Sergeant Thayer has also offered to bring in a rock climbing wall, and which would be set up somewhere in close proximity to the park. And in addition, Sergeant Thayer suggested a video game competition and bringing in a Hummer for people to see.
Humvee.
A Humvee, yep. We hope that this event will spread awareness that kids can get arthritis too, and there are several children right here in Foxborough who are affected by the disease, so we're very excited.
Cool. Miss Steele, who's a little shy.
Hi, my name is Colleen Dealey. I'm 10 years old and I am in 5th grade at the Hearn Middle School. In June of 2007, I was diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. I want to find a cure so that someday other kids with JRI don't feel the pain I do. I would need
Andrew Upton, attorney for Red Robin.
Attorney. They call me a politician if I did that.
It's nice to meet you.
Yeah, that's the nice thing they say about me. Welcome.
Thank you.
Red Robin is a place that we've heard about for a long time. When the Patriot Place project was first introduced, this particular restaurant was one of the restaurants that was mentioned as being the kind of client that the developer hoped to attract, and it looks like we're getting there, right?
Absolutely.
Very proud to hear that.
I can tell you a little bit about the concept.
Would you please? That would be great.
Red Robin is a publicly traded company. There's 370 Red Robin restaurants in the U.S., but expansion in New England is relatively new. There's only 2 here now, and they're hoping for growth, and this is really a pilot project to target at such a high-profile place. It is a dining destination. We serve alcohol, but we like to think that's not why people come here. It's a family-friendly dining. The typical check is $11.72 per person. The typical person completes their meal in 37 to 42 minutes. So it is fairly casual, fairly inexpensive. About 80% to 85% of the revenues come from food, so only about 15 or 20 come from alcohol. But we do try to get alcohol licenses wherever we go because people often want to have a beer with a burger.
My wife has wine with the burger, but that's her.
We have that option, although it is selected by fewer patrons than beer.
Jim has a Zima.
We have trouble ordering that. There's not much to know.
Go ahead, please.
So it's a growing company. It's a big company. We take a lot of care in hiring the management, in conducting training. Mr. Morrill has a lot of experience in the industry. In fact, he and I worked together years ago when he was with Chili's, and 2 years ago he joined Red Robin and has been with them in their expansion in Massachusetts, and they've chosen him to operate the newest and biggest site they've got going. There's plenty of background on him, but I'd like to have him describe a little bit of his experience, and then we're glad to answer any questions.
I think that's great, and you have some materials if you want to
Yep, we've got
use the materials too, Michael?
We've got some site plans, we've got some menus, which I can pass out as you start describing.
Yeah, I mean, as far as myself is concerned, I've been in the business for 25 years, been a manager since I was 18 years old, so 20 years, going on 20 years. I've been the general manager for the Red Robin in Plymouth, Wareham, and also now in this location. And like Andrew said, we're a family restaurant. We're not a saloon. We don't even call our bar a bar. It's a refreshment center.
I just noticed reading the file today that I didn't know you had a spot in Wareham. Where are you in Plymouth?
Plymouth, we're in Colony Place. It's right off of Route 44, exit 7 off of Route 3.
Okay.
44. It's a brand new.
And how about Wareham?
Wareham, it's another brand new place called Wareham Crossing. It's right off of 495, exit 1, right in there.
Okay.
New Lowe's, new Target in there, all that, Best Buy, all that kind of good stuff. And like I said, we're like Andrew said, we complement the food with a beer, but most of what our mixologists do at the refreshment center, 65 to 70% of it is smoothies and shakes, and we you walk in our doors and we've got balloons for the kids, and we have a mascot that walks around Tuesdays and Thursdays. So we're not necessarily catering to the rowdy Sunday. We're not open for last call, 1 o'clock in the morning, that kind of thing. So. We train all of our managers in serve-safe alcohol. Most of them are also TIP certified. In fact, I've got my certificate here. And then we put all of our team members through a responsible service of alcohol program. Every one of them wear this as part of their uniform. The ID, obviously 39 and a half and under. In here it explains, the absorption rates of alcohol, how to react to certain circumstances. Obviously, as managers, we take care of most of that. But in my short time with Red Robin, knock on wood, it's really not that type of atmosphere. It's not something that we normally have to concern ourselves with or control. Like I said, we're a family restaurant. So.
Great. Do you have something that you want to show in terms of?
We have larger versions of what we've handed out, and they're also in the binders. But
there's an easel here if you want to just
Want to show them that one?
Point out what you got, where you're going to be.
This is, for the most part, our location on the site. So we've got Route 1, traffic light right here, and I believe this entrance is the P6 entrance. So as soon as you bang in here, we are right on the corner behind the hotel. So for parking, it's right across the
Mike, where is that in relation to the stadium itself?
stadium up here.
Okay.
So you got the stadium parking lot, then that first little walkway here behind the hotel. We're on the corner towards Route 1. So this would be our entrance right here on the corner.
Here's the aerial view.
Aerial view. And so we would be in the hotel here. So we're actually behind, right in here. Yep. Facing Route 1, right in the corner.
Okay. Anything else you guys would like to add?
I think that's about it. We have all sorts of maps and various views of the site if you have any other questions, but we appreciate your time. We're looking forward to doing business in Foxborough. And
Well, we did, Andy, you went through the application.
All forms
Everything is complete.
What the agency requires.
These licenses are designated for this particular area. When the mall was developed, those licenses, you pay a $5,000 fee to the town of Foxborough, and then there's a $2,400 annual, is that correct?
Well, 5,000, so it's a one-time fee.
5,000 is a one-time fee, and then is there an annual fee that you pay?
License renewal, right, 2,300.
And the license is non-transferable in the sense that if you give the license up, it comes back to the town. Right, you understand that?
Yep, we do.
This is a little bit different than an at-large license in the town. I know I looked through this, everything seemed to be in order. Do you get credit for putting the file in order, or do we have to give credit to someone else, counsel?
it was a team effort.
Team effort. At this point, it's usually appropriate to say, and Sandra was a big help, too.
Absolutely.
I did look through this. Are you under construction? Hey, have you begun construction?
I'm not sure if they've broken ground.
I might add Ted Fire with NPP Development. They're going in for building permit next week, I believe, and within a couple of weeks after that, should be ready to mobilize.
And I think that you filed a floor plan with us.
Yes.
One of the things that we didn't have in place at this board was a mechanism for authorizing the licenses before the building was constructed. So about a year ago, we adopted this bylaw where you have a certain amount of time to build out, and I don't even think that's an issue, Ted. You're looking to open the Red Robin when?
July 28th.
July 28th.
The target.
In any event, I looked through the file, everything seemed to be in order. You had all the applicable forms and the leases and the parties at interest, and I was satisfied that we were full of paperwork. I'll open it up to other members of the board for questions or comments. Paul?
Everything seems to be in order, Mr. Chairman. I just one question for clarification. You anticipate servers checking IDs just at the table and at the bar, right? We're not checking IDs at the entrance or anything like that?
Typically, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I have.
Linda?
No, everything seemed fine to me. I'm looking forward to it, actually.
Excellent.
I am seeing all the commercials all the time, and I'm always like, where is there a Red Robin? I gotta get some of
their
those
job.
burgers that the monkey's looking for, whatever it is. But it's great. I think it's exactly what they need up there, and it's a great start. So I wish you all the luck.
Thank you very much.
If Linda hadn't said it, I would have said it. And you really shouldn't bring me a menu like this before I've had dinner.
Well, you're all welcome to Wareham in the meantime.
One of the other things that's happening is that you're giving us the information that we used to ask for in terms of your certification to serve. We understand that you're a family restaurant and that alcohol is a closely regulated substance. But part of the reason the town adopted or asked the legislation that allowed these licenses so that it would be a vibrant center that would attract businesses like yours, and we're hopeful that you will be a big success. This is Mr. Hickey, and Mr. Hickey, this is the applicant for the
Red Robin.
Red Robin.
Nice to meet you. I'm very sorry that I am late. Please do not take that as lack of respect for your application.
Thanks.
This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard during the public hearing portion of this applicant's request for a license? Hearing none, I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. It's now 4-0. Public hearing having closed, I'd like to make a motion that we grant a new all-alcohol license to Red Robin International, Inc., as set out on the application and papers filed March 6, 2008.
Second.
Discussion. Actually, the Form 43 I'm looking at now has 2 dates. We have a date in the upper right, which is today's hearing date, and the application was filed on the 6th, right? See, the office is usually right. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Abstaining? Welcome.
Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We look forward to it. Thanks for coming. Nice to meet you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thanks for your help with the abutter notification.
Oh, great. Thank you.
All right, thanks for your help.
Okay. It's not quite 7:30 yet, so why don't we have a couple of action items that we can do, Andy?
Yes.
7:22 on my telephone.
First item on the list for approval are the board minutes of your meeting on March 25th.
Mr. Chairman, a wonderful job as always was done by Pauline. There's one piece in there that I think was grammatically tough to get through, but as I sat there and read it several times through, I was okay with it, so I don't have any amendments.
Anybody have anything that they need to amend on the minutes?
I make a motion that we approve the minutes of March 25th, 2008 for the Board of Selectmen.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4-0.
Second item on the list is a gift given to the town by Hanover RS Limited Partnership, Lodge at Foxborough LP. They're giving the town $165,000, which was conditioned with a special permit issued by the zoning board for the project. The $165,000 is to put in gift accounts for the following projects: $55,000 for the town hall renovation project, $40,000 lighting of the baseball field at Foxborough High School, $40,000 for the zoning review committee study, and $30,000 for decorative lighting at the common downtown.
This was part of the package that was negotiated with this developer when they came to town.
Right.
And did you reviewed the original package? Is this gift in line with that?
Yes.
I mean, we're calling it a gift.
Yes, it's given to us as a gift in order for us to set up special accounts for these projects.
In reading through it, I think you also covered a couple of other things, is what happens if we don't spend the money?
It goes back into the recreation facility fund.
And we have, what?
3 years to use the money.
3 years to use the money. So we need to move on the town hall renovation project, get that $55,000 into this project. Anybody have any questions on that?
Just sharing that the zoning review committee study, that $40,000 piece was mitigated, not as a gift, but as an offset to the loss of commercial property made due to the 40B housing. A significant chunk of our industrial park is no longer able to be used for industrial commercial use. So this is a way to support the town on a Route 1 and overall comprehensive zoning review process to see if our current zoning is valid for the next 20, 25 years, and if there's not another way that we can zone something for commercial industrial to offset this loss. So this is a good one for the town.
Makes sense. Great.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept a $165,000 gift from Hanover RS Limited Partnership and the Lodge at Foxborough LP is set out in the letter to the town manager dated March 27, 2008.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None?
Item 3, we have a letter from Sonia Stern on behalf of the Foxborough Youth baseball and softball leagues, asking the board's approval to hold their opening day parade with baseball and softball. The parade will be on April 19th, starting at 8:15 a.m.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the annual baseball parade as set out in the letter from Sonia Stern to the Board of Selectmen dated March 27, 2008.
Second.
Motion made and seconded twice. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.
Item 4 was a hand note from Bob Swanson to me, but it refers to correspondence between the Conservation Commission, which was initiated by the Board of Selectmen after receiving a letter from Ms. Robitel regarding protecting turtle species on Cassett Street.
I don't remember it.
Correspondence has been going back and forth since 2007. We sent it to the Conservation Commission. They sent us back a letter, and then they finally sent a letter to Bob last month, on March 26th. So Bob just passed it back to me and says, will the board approve these two signs?
Mr. Thrasher, Mr. Chairman, I take very seriously the environmental concerns of this town, and if the Conservation Commission feels strongly that a turtle crossing sign is required for this area to ensure that the sensitivity of the environment is respected by drivers, then I'm all for it.
I'm just surprised I didn't remember it coming in. It goes back to last summer.
Right.
And do we have turtle crossing signs?
Not in stock yet.
Are we going to?
If you made up signs.
Okay. I mean, it's a serious thing if you're a turtle.
Yeah.
Mr. Sweeney, being a new person on the board, I'm curious to know what your position is on the turtles.
I haven't received any calls from any turtles yet, Mr. Hickey, but they are constituents.
Maybe Linda would like to weigh in on this.
Yeah, I think that, there's duck crossing signs, and, why should we just have duck crossing signs if turtle signs are needed? And especially if the Conservation Commission agrees with it, I don't know that it seems like they would take them down. It would just be during the season that they cross the street. I don't know enough about turtles.
Well, I'm not willing to tell the turtles when they can and cannot cross.
How do they know to cross at the sign?
That's a good point.
Is this, I mean, I don't know, is this something that needs to go out to the neighborhood? Or?
I don't know.
It's a warning sign, basically.
It's just a notifier,
It just makes people slow down.
Yeah, it's not a stop sign, it's a warning sign. It'll be a yellow sign with the logo on it.
They had, and it's just the signs, because they had mentioned putting up fencing and things, but that was a little bit too far, so.
I think in view of that, Mr. Chairman, I feel that we have no choice but to move that we direct the Highway Department to erect 2 turtle crossing signs as noted.
Well, I'm kidding around here. They raise a bigger issue, which is the protection of endangered species and the fact that this particular area, I've not seen any turtles, not that I drive that particular street very often. We have had a number of discussions about signs, and I've never been requested to have a turtle crossing sign. And if there's no objection from the persons who live there and a request from the Conservation Commission, we have a citizen raising his hand, though.
What's the location?
So, it's right near.
In the vicinity of Vandy's Pond on Cassett Street.
It's right near Point Royal.
I'm at 112.
112 Cocasset.
Where would it be?
Past
Going towards Sharon?
Yes, past Oak Street.
Or past Oak? Thank you.
Look, I mean, my only concern, Mr. Chairman, is we have an absolute abundance of signs on the downtown and down on the Route 1 ends. But, if this is something that people think it's important and acting in the best interest of the species, then hearing no objection,
You would second my motion?
I'd support it.
Okay, we'll take that as a second. And
Second.
is there any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor of the turtle crossing signs on Cocasset Street?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Let it not be said that this board does not protect the turtle.
Amen.
The honor of all.
It's an endangered species. It's an important thing. It just happened to be turtles, and it struck me funny, and I don't mean any disrespect by it. And it being now 7:30, we have a public hearing scheduled, and the clerk having arrived. We had Paul reading before.
I'm sure he did a wonderful job.
He missed a couple of words, Bob. He's not you, but
I'm learning, Mr. Akins.
Probably not a bad thing.
if you would kindly read the public hearing notice.
Thank you. The Board of Selectmen, acting as the local licensing authority, has received an application to alter and amend the premises of the 7-day all-alcohol beverage license now exercised by MBC Inn and Lounge Incorporated, doing business as the Ancient Mariner, 9 Mechanic Street, Foxborough. Manager Joyce Carlson. The public hearing has been scheduled in the Town Hall Meeting Room, 40 South Street, on Tuesday, April 8, 7:30. To act on this request, interested parties are invited to attend the hearing, published once March 27, 2008.
Welcome. Is this your application?
Yes.
Come on up. Are you Ms. Carlson?
Yes.
Joyce Carlson?
Yeah.
And sir?
Lowell Carlson.
Lowell Carlson, welcome. You're going to do some renovations?
I think they've been done already. I think it's just a matter of updating the wording on the license form to verify what's there on the premises. It's an update we did do when the license was renewed back at the beginning of the year. So it's like a catch-up, to clarify what's existing.
Okay, so
Reflect that on the license form.
it's just an alteration.
Right. Although I did, by request of the ladies in the Selectmen office, added everything that I wanted to do at this time, so that I don't have to come back and do it again down the road. So there are some added things on the description that weren't there, that has not been done, I guess I should say. But I put it there in the hopes that if I choose to do it down the road, I will be able to.
Okay.
Which part of it is new, Joyce?
The deck, the small deck out off of the bar in question.
First floor?
Are you looking
Yes.
at a part of the form? Are you listing it on the form? Just so I can follow along?
Is it right here on this form
See what is the-
43, Joyce? Right here,
description?
where you
The
wrote that?
third line down, Jim. After-
Yeah, the
after
description of the
period.
Where it
licensed
says first floor.
property
Right,
there.
where it says first floor?
Right.
That's the new section.
Yeah. The 30 by 80 bar that it seats 4 dry bars, that's our existing bar on the first floor.
Okay.
That's the bar that's been there since forever. And then the one that we did some time back, which we're trying to catch up on as he spoke, is the next one that I described, the 21 by 31 room, bar seats 11 for the dry bar. That is the other lounge. And then I added to it the outdoor patio. For some reason,
The deck.
It's on the second page. here.
my yeah,
It's kind of on a page by
for
itself.
some reason I don't have that, and I don't know why.
30 by 18 deck.
Yeah, there it's drawn on
30
that.
by 18 deck,
Yeah.
enclosed deck for outdoor seating,
Right.
street level.
Yes.
From exit, entrance.
And for some
basement
reason,
level.
my piece of that got, I don't know where,
Is it on the back side of that?
it got cut off for some reason when we copied it.
Yeah.
And that's part of it, but it got cut off. The top, see how the top cut off? Yeah, that's the other part.
Do you want to look at it? Does he help with the explanation? Because I can look at Jim's.
Yeah. Yeah, this right here, this drawing, the 30 by 18 deck, is not there right now.
What part of the
It's-
building, where does that face?
That's right on the parking lot side.
It would face Ben Franklin
Bank, yes.
So you'd be losing the 5 parking spaces there?
No, I would lose 3.
3.
But I am going for a proposal of 10 more parking spots, which I'm working with Mr. Caspera right now. And all I have to do is go to the zoning. It's a non-conforming parking lot, which means I don't have to have come before any boards or anything. I just have to go before, I don't know, there's so many boards here, I'm confused, but the zoning, I think it is.
You and me.
Yeah, so it's like, and it's non-conforming, so I don't have to do any requirements of that other than show them where my spots are going to be, which we've already turned that into Mr. Caspera. And that meeting is on May 16th, I believe. 17th.
So what you want to be able to do is to construct it.
Yeah, if I choose to. That isn't anything we've totally decided yet. We're waiting to see how the parking works out first, and then if everything works out right with that, then we would like to do that. If it gives us enough parking and we can design it properly to make the deck fit into the parking design that we're going to do.
Well, I think that would come, in my thinking anyway, that would come within the what we talked about in the earlier application, which is something that's not constructed yet and you're trying to license it. That there would be a time limit if you didn't build the deck. I think the time limit is a year.
That would be fine. I would do it by then.
You'd have to come back and let us know why you didn't do it.
Right.
That would be sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah.
So that we can license it, and if you do, you have to build it according to the plan.
Yep.
Right.
And what would your service, your hours, your outdoor service, what would you expect? Would that be the same hours as indoors, or?
No, we would probably only allow, well, obviously people are allowed to smoke outside until midnight, but we would block that area off probably at 10, 11 o'clock at night.
Which I think you'll find an interesting ruling perhaps would apply here, that unfortunately they determined that part of the outdoor terrace area is considered far proper, and under mass law, I don't believe you can do that. Sorry.
Do what? What do you mean?
Smoke on a terrace.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, but I'm
That's
just
not
saying
us.
that people are allowed outside
People
to
are
smoke.
outside.
Right.
So I would have to design it to block that area off.
Right, okay,
So
I
people
understand.
would be smoking not on it,
Good,
but beside it, so to speak.
I understand.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't want people to be allowed to smoke on the deck.
Okay, this is a public hearing. I'm sorry, any other members of the board have any questions for Ms. Carlson? No. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here that would like to be heard on the application of the Ancient Mariner for an alteration of the license? Hearing none, I make a motion that we close the public hearing.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? My only concern with the deck is that you're 8 to 1 for your hours, and I've been here for 3 years and I haven't had a complaint or a problem with the way you're running your restaurant. If you want to move it outside, then my only suggestion would be that you be very conscious of the effect that the use of the deck might have on the neighborhood or the area.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah, I've spoke with Christine and at great length. Christine and I go at great length, and her and I have a pretty good understanding of this. She's the only one that would really ever be affected because she's on that side.
Right.
The other people is the bank, so they're never there during our night hours anyway. So she was quite in agreement with. She felt very comfortable with everything we discussed.
And I think sometimes it's a matter of what hour, if there is talking and if there's any disruption, sometimes it's just a limitation of the hours, whether you came in at 8 o'clock or that kind of thing. I'm not saying that you have to do that, and I'm not even sure that under the Massachusetts general law, we can say you have to shut it off at 8 o'clock. That would be the kind of thing where we would have to say, well, we're going to take that part of the license away.
Right.
So just something to consider if you
Okay.
do the deck, as you go forward. Any other questions?
Do I turn these in here?
Motion that we approve the alterations given us to by the Ancient Mariner.
Second.
Motion made and seconded, and this would be the application that was filed on the 20th of March with the description and the sketch. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None? Thanks for coming in.
Could I just ask how long it takes for the liquor people to, ABC?
It's hard to give you an exact date. It could be a couple of weeks, it could be a month.
Okay.
We'll mail it in tomorrow, and it's on, it's their schedule, it's how many things they've approved.
It'll be a toss-up where they get the deck built before they come back.
Okay. And am I supposed to wait for that for operation?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.
Our next matter is an appointment with Mr. Ishak. Why don't we take that now? We were a couple minutes early, but it's not a hearing, so.
I don't.
Were you here not long ago?
Yeah,
On the 2, right?
yeah.
Then you went to the ZBA?
We went to the ZBA, we got approved, and then they said we have to come back here again.
Okay.
The letter from the building commissioner attached, verifying the approval.
Right, and there was 5 there before,
Yeah,
and you had to get your own approval on it.
yep.
The way the ZBA approvals are, it's approvals not to the land, but to the owner. So when the owner changes,
Okay.
they have to come back all over again and get approvals.
Well, I'm fine with it. Anybody questions?
I live in the neighborhood, and the admonitions that we gave about having the flags and all
Yeah,
that,
no.
you've been good with that, so it seems as though you're acting in accordance with what the neighborhood desires are. Have you had any discussions with neighbors next door or across the street?
I never had any complaints.
Nobody's
Nobody's
complained to us?
complaining. I've been doing whatever has been asked for me to do.
Then I would make a motion that we approve the request to increase the number of cars available for sale at the Luke Oil Station from 2 to 5 at 10 Main Street.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.
Good luck.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Mr. Scollins,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman.
how are you?
Very good yourself.
I'm fine. Turtle crossings and liquor licenses and drinking turtles and deck drinking and...
Very interesting meeting, gentlemen and ladies. Very interesting.
All inclusive.
Okay, budget?
Yes,
Here,
budget.
Article 4 in the packet that Randy prepared based on his hard work and a number of meetings we all had with our counterparts on the school operation to come to a resolution and balance the budget for FY09. It was teamwork and hard work by everyone to make it happen.
We're effectively, we're balanced. The advisory committee met on Wednesday night, and they voted to recommend the budget as presented to you. The school committee also met last night and voted to accept their budget as well as recommended and as we agreed to. It's effectively a level-funded budget. Nothing significant or material on either the school or municipal side that's been added. I think we were fortunate, given the current economic times, to be able to do what we've done. And effectively, we got here because the state aid numbers that the legislature has committed to in the joint resolution is consistent with the governor's revenue. They get there in a different way, but they're supporting the same revenue number. Working with the building commissioner and the chief assessor, we're banking on substantially increased new growth taxation. They've gone through all the different properties that are coming online. We expect to capture the taxes from. And in addition to that, we're banking on sort of some bridge, one-time spikes in local receipts from permits, et cetera, in anticipation of future tax revenues in order to basically fund level services. So all of that combined is about an incremental $2 million in revenue beyond what we would have just projected from Proposition 2.5 growth, which is substantial for our budget of our size, the general fund budget of roughly $46 million, a $2 million increase just to cover the natural increases in expenses and needs in the town. So we were fortunate to be able to do that. I'm sure everybody's read the papers. Many other communities not as fortunate. So hopefully we'll be able to continue with this and maybe down the road do better where we can improve services.
So we're recommending to the board, as we did to the advisory committee, a total town budget, including all operations and all the enterprise departments, totaling $50,692,013 for FY09. That's the last page, Bob. Backside. Missing it?
Oh, I think they're blank on the back.
Oh, she didn't double side copy that.
I've got 2 extra copies here.
Yeah, mine's fine.
Yours fine? Anybody else, Bob?
I give Bob mine.
We were here on budget discussions a number of times. There was a gap that started in the over $2 million.
2.8.
There was some additional. I think there was some additional revenue calculations that you were able to do that reduced that.
At the new growth.
Some amount.
Right.
Then there was there were a lot of ongoing discussions with the town manager, the finance director, and the school department. It got to about $240,000 recently. There were more discussions. I know that these gentlemen have worked very hard on it, and I know that the school side also worked very hard to close that.
Absolutely.
That's the hardest $200,000, I think, in the budget.
Right.
Where is that going to come from? And my compliments to getting that done. I think it was maybe a week ago, 10 days ago, that I heard that you had finalized your discussions with the school department.
Right.
And when you talk to them, if you can express at least my appreciation for the work that they did. I know I called Chris and Paul and Larry. I never spoke to any of them directly, I don't think, but please, I know they worked hard, and I appreciate what they did.
Absolutely.
We do have a tradition of working together, and I will say that we are very fortunate in Foxborough that we are not in a situation, many towns are looking at millions of dollars in overrides, not small overrides, but long-term, very expensive, just to keep running at a level service. And I appreciate very much the hard work that you do, Randy and Andy. And Bob has chaired this board before. He's been through that
Absolutely.
budget process.
Yep.
And understands the need for cooperation, communication, and that you have a lot of departments that you have to run in the town. And it's I think you do a real good job at running them within your budget. And the school department has demonstrated that they are willing to work with us on a regular basis to narrow our differences so that we're not faced with the unenviable choice of putting an override in front of the voters to fund operating costs.
Yes, schools have been, fantastic in the partnership to close the gap. It's never easy. I'm sure they would want to do more, just like the municipal departments would like to do more. But it's been a great process on all sides.
Well, it's always a good thing to be able to announce that we will present a balanced budget to town meeting. Does anybody have any questions for either the town manager or the finance director?
I would just point out this is an ongoing process, and Randy, you're absolutely your credit, and Andy, since I've been here, you've always held the line on unchecked growth, and the school committee, to their credit, and to this board, this year's budget will be, in this year's work, we'll see its rewards 3, 4, 5 years down the road when we're still not dealing with the issues we're dealing with in other communities, because sometimes the easy answer is not always the right answer. And so credit to you again, because it's a lot of work now, and some of those decisions made back then have allowed us to do this.
Absolutely.
Good job, Jim. This is a lot of work. So.
Right.
No,
Thank you, Joe. Thank you.
These guys get the credit. I ask questions.
Good
questions.
Good questions.
Yep.
Mr. Chairman,
Paul?
thank you. I just want to echo your sentiments and Bob's, and great work, Randy and Andy. I know you guys have worked awfully hard on this, and to the department heads out there that understood the need for fiscal conservatism at a time like this and kind of tightening the belts a little bit. And again, the school department, I know we had that couple $100,000 that was going to be tough, and I commend the school department and the school committee as well. And yourself, Mr. Chairman, too, being the chairman on this board. I know you were the traffic cop and all this and facilitated a lot of discussions, and I think the town appreciates that. I know this board does. And hopefully people see the need to go out and hopefully raise some revenue in different ways, think outside the box a little bit in the future. I know we're in good shape here in Foxborough with people like you, Randy and Andy. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Would you like us to make a motion to set this as the approved budget, or do we need to do that?
Yes, I'd ask the board to vote on it.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve Article 4, the annual town budget, as submitted for FY 2009 for inclusion with the town warrant.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. We don't need the value on that. It's clear what we're voting on, right?
So if you want to read the
We'll
vote.
give it to you.
With a total value of $50,692,013. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I second.
Seconded. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
On the warrant document itself, I want to point out a couple of important things to the board. As you may recall, back several weeks ago when we started putting this warrant document together, the warrant list included 2 more articles. So this is less 2 articles after review by town council and the water sewer board. They deleted the articles regarding sewer. One was the sewer overlay district, a zoning article. Council said it wasn't necessary, so they pulled that. The other article dealt with the comprehensive wastewater management plan, an amendment to that, and they determined that was not needed at this time. So those 2 have been pulled from the warrant.
Okay. So we're looking at, this is the final warrant,
Final warrant, 27 articles
27 articles.
On the index page, which is
There's a summary, there's an index. Everybody have a chance to look at it? Read it? Does anybody have any questions?
So the okay, I'm fine. Thank you.
And there's a lot of business here.
Yes.
We've been through it. We've been through most of it. All we're looking to do is approve it tonight.
yes, I was on the process of putting a budget piece together in it, and tomorrow I'll talk to the printer about getting him the document so they can put the copies for town meeting.
I'd like to make a motion then that we approve the annual town meeting warrant as submitted to us from the town manager in the package tonight.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.
Monday, May 5th, town meeting, correct?
May 12th, Paul.
May 5th.
is the election.
Yeah, the election's first, and then it's
That's
continued over. Yeah.
Something you don't have to worry about this year, but near and dear to my heart.
Well, having been there and looked at the calendar and seen it was less than a month away, I thought, oh boy, it's one busy month.
The best time of the year.
Will you be bringing the donuts to the center of town?
I did last weekend, in fact. Hot chocolate. It was raining.
Gonna rain this Saturday too.
Good. Wouldn't have it any other way.
We only have one more appointment.
We have some unfinished business on the
Yeah, we're
going
gonna do action, and then we'll.
And we have Mr. McGill and on the lip application.
Okay, Andy?
See, left off, that's on item 5. This is our annual notice from the MAPC, the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, of the election to the MPO, which is a regional committee that reviews project requests for state funding on roads, bridges, and infrastructure. This notice is to each elected board notifying the board that the chief elected officer of the board, which is the chairman, if he so wishes, or if she so wishes, can take out papers to run for this state board. And it outlines the deadline and nomination process and election process. So it's something that I don't would be interested.
I'll hold a sign for you.
Jim,
It's not something that I had actually considered doing, frankly. This is a regional planning organization.
Yes.
And it doesn't have, is it only the chief elected official?
Yes.
Have we traditionally had a candidate? Have we ever had a candidate?
I don't recall, since this has been established, I don't recall one from Foxborough being involved with this. We'll get as the process unfolds, the board will get a ballot form. We get a chance to vote on who the people are running.
I would like to donate even more time to public service, but I frankly, I don't have any time that I can devote to this. So I'm going to pass on sending out papers to the Boston Region Metropolitan Planning Organization.
I would have brought the donuts.
Okay?
Okay.
And we'll get a ballot, you said, Andy, right?
Yes,
You can fill an absentee ballot.
it'll come to the board.
We've not done this. They've always come up with a few local, not local to Foxborough, but local folks that participate, so it seems that the representation works.
Look that I had more time.
Yes.
Item 6 is an application from David Hanson for a new hacky license. He will be driving for East Coast Limo. The form is complete. It's been reviewed by Deputy Chief Chandler and signed off by him.
Matter of fact, that's a good point. I'd like to congratulate John Chandler for having been named the new deputy police chief in Foxborough.
Yes.
And that was just this week, and that appointment was your appointment.
Yes, it was, Jim. We were fortunate to have 3 very good candidates on the list. Compared to the civil service formula, we could just consider the top 3 on the list. John was the top person, Sergeant Haskell was second, and Sergeant Thibodeau was third. But, we spent some time with each of the candidates, put them through a thorough interview. I had Chief O'Leary sit in with me and Chief Bernstein from Sharon, and put some tough questions to the 3 of them. They all did well, but John had a little edge over the other 2, I thought, based on his exposure to different operations in the department, and made the selection.
Well, we're fortunate that we had 3 good candidates, and if you would, on behalf of the board, pass our congratulations on to Deputy Chief Chandler. We have an application for a hackey's license from David Hanson, and I'd like to make a motion that we approve that application.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Item 7, before the board are 2 hacky license renewals. Both men drive for East Coast Limo. One renewal is for Robert Donahue, and the other is for John Zagowski.
Not having been made aware of any incidents involving these drivers, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the renewal application for a hackey's license for Robert Donahue as set out in the application dated April 1, 2008.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the hackey's license application of John Zadarsky dated April 1, 2008. This is a renewal application.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None.
Item 8, recommendation to the board, will take no action on the one-day liquor license request from Stephen Charter.
Okay.
We had conversations with the ABCC through their office. I had Sandy working on this, spent quite a time on the phone today. They were missing some forms that's required by the ABCC, some affidavits. It was short notice. He understood the situation. He says, next time you come back much earlier, produce the required forms before the board can act on it.
Our job is easier when we have nothing to do. We'll pass on that one. Next.
And the last item is a referral from the town planner. It's a notice of a public hearing for a special permit for business, we're looking at Chestnut Green Reliable Cleaners. That hearing is going to be held by the planning board on April 17th at 7:30 p.m.
Okay, it's just a notification to us, no action required. Is there anything else that came in after you prepared the list, Andy?
That's all the
That completes the action items. We'll move on to new business. Is there any new business? Linda? Any new business?
New business. I don't have any new business other than a phone call that I got from David Solomon that I think you need to address this.
Yeah.
Other than that.
I'll bring that up. Anybody else with new business? Paul?
Mr. Chairman, this board took an action at a meeting last week to appoint the subcommittee.
Right.
In light of the ADA's decision and ruling that there was a violation of the open meeting law. This board met in a posted meeting last week and as I said, appointed a subcommittee to comply with the ADA's ruling and produce minutes. Selectman Walsh and myself have discussed some logistics, and we had planned on meeting next Tuesday in this room at 7 p.m. in an open meeting. It will be posted by Sandy tomorrow so that we can bring that to a conclusion and produce minutes for the public and to the assistant district attorney.
Okay, well, that's what we're all about in terms of complying with that ruling. Thanks for the work that you're doing. You're going to invite anybody and everybody who was there at the meeting to participate, and it will be open to the public?
It's open to the public. It will be posted. Sandy will post it, and it's open, and that way we have everything that we need to present to the ADA.
Okay, and what are we going to do? You're going to present the document back to this board did you give some thought to that?
I think the plan was to report back to this board on the 22nd. Is that our next meeting?
Okay.
On the 22nd,
set some time on that.
which would put us in compliance with the 30-day.
By 6 days, it will, yep. In case anybody has anything else, then we have 6 days to rectify it.
We have a public hearing scheduled that night on the Springsteen concert, so we could schedule that after the concert hearing.
Sure.
Yeah.
You need, what, half an hour, what time, or?
Yeah, I don't anticipate a lengthy discussion. I don't
No,
think.
because
No,
hopefully.
but I did hear that Springsteen himself was going to come in on that application, so there may be may have to schedule that for the McGinty room.
Everybody's welcome, right? It's open.
Or maybe not. Maybe that's just rumors. Okay. I did get a call too. I talked to the town manager because we have this ongoing issue about how we're going to reconstruct the Cross Street, North Street, Payson Road intersection area that was part of the Patriot Place Planning Board mitigation package. That there was a negotiation that the Patriots, the Kraft Group, would pay for the improvement, and the Planning Board, as far as I know, I haven't seen anything official on it yet, but the Planning Board favors a circular construction. The neighborhood group doesn't, and it's up to us to really make a final decision. I have a number of questions, but the point I raised tonight is that Mr. Solomon, I did speak to Mr. Solomon, and he has written a letter to the town, and he made a request that we put that in the information package before the meeting on the 13th of May, so that the board members can at least read up on his issues, or the issues of the neighborhood. I don't know what's in the letter. I haven't read it myself. But I told him that I would take that up with the board and ask Andy to have it put in the package for the next meeting. Okay?
Is just clarification, is the planning board going to submit to us on the 13th their findings, or?
Hopefully, the problem, we had already tried to schedule a meeting, Linda, and we had set that in motion.
Yeah.
But then I found out Bob Swanson's on vacation, that he went to South Carolina to pick up his daughter, college, and the engineer who drafted the recommendation to plan for the planning board was not available, so we had to reschedule to May 13th.
But the planning board itself has not made their final determination on it, right?
I don't know what final is, but
Yeah, I mean, I think they made their decision, and
I
then it
think we
comes
made
to
a
us.
decision a while ago, and that's what has generated the design plan that I think is now
Right.
up for discussion.
Right, because the board needs to, this board needs to approve any street redesign, street opening permits, curb cuts, all of that.
I think it gives us an opportunity to look at the whole proposed project in light of some of the, at the last time we visited North Street, we were talking about neck downs through the corridor after the tracks up to Route 1. Bob Swanson had at least persuaded me that we needed to make those neck downs as wide as we could to facilitate some plowing. And I have a number of concerns about putting in a round area there at Payson Road, but I can wait until the 13th of May and address them then. I think
Mr. Swanson does too, and that's why it's important to have him at the meeting.
Right. So we'll go forward on the 13th.
Okay.
We have an invitation from Foxborough Cable Access for Saturday, May 3rd at 11 o'clock at the high school auditorium to dedicate the newest production facility. Bob, do you know anything about that?
Absolutely.
Would you share a little bit about that?
Well, the Foxborough Public Schools have been a long time partners, if you will, with Foxborough Cable Access. Foxborough Cable Access has sponsored internship programs. We do. Michael Weber, the director, and his volunteers do a lot of production work out of the high school and the other schools for music, sports. And it makes sense that we upgrade, or at least make as high a quality possible for production to really support the students who are playing the musical instruments or the play productions. And to that end, volunteers' time is also valuable in that the setup and the teardown is time-consuming, and the more time to do it, the equipment gets handled. So the solution was to create a sound booth and all of the equipment permanently at the site. And so a partnership through the school committee with the high school and the board of Foxborough Cable Access, Paul Beck being the lead architect, if you will, Mike Weber as a director, they've created this wonderful resource. And actually at our meeting that we held there, the joint meeting with the Conservation Commission, we enjoyed the fruits of that. And as you were able to see on Cable Access's website, the production quality was so high that it was able to be captured and broadcast as an embedded video. So that's the sort of thing that is possible if you have a high quality production. That's what's going on here. It's all been done through donations and the work of Foxborough Cable Access in the cooperation of the school. Mike O'Leary has been wonderful to work with. And this will be a very nice opportunity to show it off for the community. So I'll certainly be there on May 3rd, and I hope that other people come out and see what the schools are doing and how Cable Access supports them.
Thank you, Bob. Light refreshments. I might get there.
You know, I will say that our board meetings are very nice. We have, Mark Nash does a wonderful job of making our board meetings an enjoyable experience from the food standpoint. I think it's a lesson that maybe we should embrace. And
no turtle soup on the menu?
Well, I've seen chocolate turtles, but...
I wanted to bring up another issue that we talked about in the meeting that we had last week, and that has to do with the executive session minutes. The last time we did this, we had a list of executive session meetings that we had not yet released. Could we get that list updated?
Yes.
And the one I really would like to get moved through at our next meeting would be the executive session minutes from the meeting of February 12th. Which was the meeting we had at the high school.
Okay.
There was some question raised when the district attorney wrote his opinion on the violation of the open meeting laws, whether there was a meeting on the 13th or the 12th. I'd like to at least get this board to review those minutes, and if there's no reason to continue to hold those minutes as privileged, release them, and if necessary, make them part of the final report that the subcommittees do in compliance with the letter.
Do you want to come in and review them first, Jim?
Yeah, I want to review them
before I put them publicly to release.
Can we put them in the? Can we make them available to us at the in the package without putting it in the public package, or do we have to come in and read them?
We have to- The last time we went through this exercise, I think I acted on behalf of the board to
One
review.
member came in to review them with me,
I've done that a couple times, and
then-
it's worked out
and then
well.
brought them before the board in public session, the ones that were released.
And the only concern I would have about that is the reason we went into executive session was to discuss strategy for ongoing litigation, which is one of the 7 reasons why we are able to. And I would just like to have the chance, I'm sure we all do, to review that before we discuss it in open meeting.
Yeah, I guess, Bob, and that's why I raised the point. In the event that there's a difference of opinion as to whether or not those minutes should be released, I think it's incumbent upon all of us to, if that's the way we're going to do it, to read them and to, what do we want to do? Put an objection forward to making them public pending a discussion?
I think if everybody has an opportunity to review them individually, we can talk about it at the next meeting and then perhaps act upon it at our meeting of the 29th.
Well, my goal was to have, if we're going to release those minutes, to have those minutes available to include them with the
And the report
minutes
report back
to
to me.
demonstrate that that was the meeting at which we
Do
made
you
a
think
decision.
that the Bob and Jim, I can't ask Mark obviously, but would you be able to come to our meeting, the subcommittee meeting next Tuesday night? Because maybe Andy could have them available to us then.
I can't say no.
I can't say no either.
I think so. I don't think I'm scheduled.
I mean, that would be the perfect opportunity. It's right the week in between that.
You're not going to be here for that meeting, though.
I'm not sure, I may be, but we usually have
Why don't I-
night hours on Tuesday, so.
Why don't I call, can you get here and read those
Yes.
minutes?
Yes.
And if you guys find it necessary that you want to read those minutes as well, make arrangements with Andy. We'll all have to make our own private arrangements to read them.
So, I hate to break, but since that was that a joint meeting of the Conservation Commission, or was the Conservation Commission invited to
Well,
that
that's what
meeting?
we have to kind of look at our notes from, because I remember there was discussion with Bob about that.
Yeah. And actually, Jim, perhaps you remember if they actually called their meeting to order.
No, I believe that that was an executive session meeting of the Board of Selectmen, and that the Conservation Commission stayed and
At our invitation.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
stayed on.
They didn't take any votes or anything. They kind of were there for informational purposes for us.
I'll call you tomorrow and try to make my own arrangements at some
Sure.
point. Okay?
I'll do likewise.
And then if we can just, the bigger project is, if we can make a list of what we've got.
The other.
Then after, maybe after town meeting, we could take a look at that and set up a schedule to have somebody reviewing them on a regular basis so we can release what we don't need to. I don't want to keep them, we're not supposed to keep them any longer than we have to.
Right.
It's incumbent upon us to figure out a program and get them reviewed and get them out, or make a decision that we hang on to them. Sometimes the reason is never to release it.
Or else we'll have Dave Brown back at our meetings looking at us.
Dave did spur that on the last time.
Yes, he did.
Let's see, I think that's all I have for new business. Old business, is there anything else?
Just to give an update, we're continuing our negotiations with various businesses to resolve the Ponset Reservoir Dam. Just wanted to let everybody know that the project is not forgotten. We're still actively pursuing it. We're in the final stages of negotiations, so I'll give the board an update in executive session if necessary for an agreement, or an open session if it's an agreement that doesn't involve the Board of Selectmen. So.
Okay, and then we had a couple of follow-up things that we haven't completed yet. Paul, you were looking at the sign problem downtown. Is that something that we still can't settle on because the state remains involved with that?
Unfortunately, we're waiting for the construction to come back and finish the sidewalk ramps. Once they do that, I think they'll turn the project over to the town.
Okay, and then the other project that was on hold was Mark and Bill were working on at least a tentative plan for town hall renovations. And Mark's not here tonight,
Right.
but I'll try to remember to ask Mark.
They will give an update report to the board.
At some point, we were going to get an update. And Linda, how are you making out on the?
We haven't heard anything back from that application for the charter school yet.
Not yet, no.
Okay.
I mean, it's still in the works, and there's really no discussion until the DEP comes back to us with their advice.
All right, well, those are the three things that I had in terms of old business. We have an appointment. Sir, are you here for the appointment?
Yes.
And since it's not a public hearing, I don't think there's any reason why we can't go forward. Mr. McGill,
Yes.
please come up.
I thought
you
Mark
have-
Resnick was going to be here for it.
Yeah, I saw him earlier. He said he was going to
Is he in the
stop
building?
up. I believe he was earlier, and he said he was going to stop up for the
I can just
meeting.
give a call.
I didn't realize that. Okay, great. Well, come up and sit down and we'll talk
All right.
about this and that.
All right. My name is Don McGill. I work for Abrams Properties, who is joint owner with Vinco Properties.
I apologize. Has his exchange changed?
Shouldn't have. Let me just write down.
Start ringing random numbers throughout the building.
We're joint owners with Vinco Properties on the Chestnut Green Apartments, the 55 units down on Chestnut Street. On October 18th, a special permit modification was granted to Vinco Properties for, we were changing it from condos to apartments. And one of the requests from the planning department was the new condition number 45, and I have extra copies of the special permit if anybody wants to look at it, just let me know. And it's requests that we submit an application and supply 14 affordable rate apartments. So what we've done is we've submitted an application, a LIP application, local initiative program, to the town, outlining the units, the number of units, some of the requirements that the Department of Housing and Community Development request in their application. I have other extra copies of the application if you'd like that as well. It shows the number of bedrooms, number of baths, gross square feet. It also shows the market rate and affordable rates of the units. The affordable rates were provided to us by DHCD, and the application, I don't know how familiar you are with the LIP program, but there's a short little description here on the top of the application. It's the local initiative program is state housing initiated and administrated by the Department of Community Development to encourage communities to produce low and moderate income housing. The program provides technical and non-financial assistance to cities and towns seeking to increase the supply of housing for households at or below 80% of the area median income. Then the LIP approved units are entered into the subsidized housing inventory pursuant to Chapter 40B. So what we've done here is this application that was submitted just initiates the process. There's other parts that are required, like a lottery application and some other components of the application to complete it. But we spoke with, her name is Erin Betzer she runs the LIP program for the state, and she said typically the application is submitted and the other items like the marketing plan and the lottery stuff is submitted later on in the project, because some projects may take 1 year, 2 years, or however long, and some of the HUD DHCD requirements change by the time the marketing of the project starts. So this application is something that town files, and then we submit the other packets when we start getting closer towards completion, the other portions of the application. Either we submit them direct to DHCD or we submit them to the town and they submit them, either way.
So we need the board to vote to submit the application, is that what it is?
Correct. It's yes, I guess.
I had the chairman already go over the application information. And I wasn't aware that, I talked to Mark, and Mark said we should get a vote of the board to submit it.
Mark, anything that you want to add?
Not really. I mean, it is, this is what the planning board had approved for the development, that there would be some affordable units, that it would be kind of done in conjunction with the town. through the LIP program because it was not to be filed as a 40B. And so this is consistent with what the planning board and also the State Hospital Reuse Committee had envisioned for the project.
Is that consistent in terms of the numbers of units and the size and that kind of percentages?
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Questions?
So since they're no longer condominiums and now apartments, does this still go towards our housing stock as we try to obtain the 10% to
Yes,
be in compliance with the 40B quota?
Yes. You have to go through this to get those to count. You can't just...
But the change in condominium to apartment doesn't
negate any units. That's
which was
correct.
my only concern.
And then we'll be also submitting a separate application for the condos in the back, the ones that remained, kind of the powerhouse and the farmhouse and the carpenter. When those become, when we start that project, that'll be an additional.
What have you named them?
Well, I just go by what's on the blueprints: the powerhouse, the carpenter house, and the the machine shop. So I'm sure the architects and owners will come up with a more creative name. For me, I just point at the buildings.
One machine shop way.
Exactly. No.
I have no questions.
Mark, where are we at currently as a town towards that 10%?
We were at, still officially, about 3.5%, but now we can count since Bill Kisper started issuing building permits for the
Lodge.
the Hanover Group's project, the lodge at Foxborough. We can now count those 250, plus we have the 20 that the state, the Foxborough Housing Authority has opened all 20 of their units, so we can count all those. So we're inching our way closer to the 10%. I haven't rerun the numbers, but
If I remember correctly, we're going to be just shy with this development.
even with all the state hospital units, we still will be shy of our 10%. That's correct.
Any word whether the state legislature is going to finally allow mobile homes and trailer parks to be attributed towards affordable housing? Or is this the snob component of the anti-snob housing regulation still going to be in place?
Well, as far as I know, it's still going to be in place for now.
Pretty ironic,
So-
isn't it?
Yeah. Has to be the right type of housing.
Oh, got
I'm
it.
not exactly sure what you said, Bob, but
Makes perfect sense.
We start on the EDC side. We've actually gone through that just so yeah.
This was 14 of 55, right?
14 of
affordable.
55, correct. And the variety, there are 5 2-bedrooms, 7 1-bedrooms and 7 2-bedrooms, split evenly, and they vary. 5 in the basement, the lower level, no such thing as basement development. 6 on the first floor, 3 on the second floor. And then, the second floor is the top floor.
how will someone who's interested in living there contact you so that they can qualify for one of these units?
That'll be part of the lottery package that we submit. And I'm not sure, I know it's run by and administered by the HUD and DHCD. So I'm not sure how that process works.
Mark, do you know?
Yeah, they usually have to submit a marketing plan, and they're required to follow certain steps in advertising in the local newspaper, regional paper, on the DHC. There's some websites that they're supposed to, either CHAPA or HUD websites, and accept applications for a period, and then they pre-qualify people, then they run the lottery, then they do the final qualifications for, well, these aren't for sale units, but still they do have to income qualify.
Do we get any residential preference at all? Is there any set aside through?
Yes, there can be a residential preference component to this as well. For sale, which is what I've done before, is you can go up to 75% of local preference.
Okay.
So, but whereas these are apartments, I'm not sure what the local preference required allowance is.
When would we make that determination?
I think as we put together the plan with them too.
The marketing plan over the next 6 to 8 months.
So these aren't going to be coming online in
These, no. We have a 12 to 14-month schedule once we get funded, which this was kind of one of the final pieces. So we're expecting to close by the end of this week, early part of next week. And then
So what you're looking for tonight is a vote for the full board
Submit the
to
application.
submit the application. I'd like to make a motion that we submit the local initiative program application for local action units as set out in the handout of the same name, dated March 28th, 08, on page 3.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Thank you.
great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Arthur, do you want to be heard? No? Lorraine?
I just mentioned, last night I went to one of the water and sewer presentations, and I don't know if you've been contacted yet, but I understand at the last meeting and last night they were asking if there was a selectman present, because questions about taxation are coming up related to the program, so I just wanted to.
I don't know when the meetings are. I didn't get a schedule from Water and Sewer as to when they were holding their meetings.
I can get you that.
I don't know if anyone can go.
I had spoken to Phil, and I told him I'd be at a couple of them, but I can't be at all of them. So yeah, there's a lot of meetings. And they're good information meetings, and it's a good point. One of us, if possible, should be there. There's some different ways we could also approach it, and that becomes a bit of an issue because there might be a way that, say, you would think would be good in front of Linda, whereas I might have a different opinion. So it's hard to go and represent a board opinion because we've not really had the review. It's really more of a water and sewer issue, but certainly we do play a role. So
I would go and of course, field questions and take down the folks' names.
and that's what I would.
That'd be okay by me, but I wouldn't give an opinion.
Yes, they're still working through it.
Maybe Sandy could put together a list of their schedule and email it to us, and somebody can be there. Great.
Yeah.
Any other, anything else?
Good Red Robin.
I'm sorry?
Let's go to Red Robin.
I make a motion. Do I want to get a six-pack and sit in the parking lot? Drink Miller Lite.
That was a motion to get a six-pack and sit in the parking lot. It wasn't seconded, though.
Only if we have some turtles present.
We are getting out rather early tonight, so I think Bill in the corner is still open. So I make a motion that we adjourn.
Second. Second. It's a unanimous second on that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.